Hello, welcome to the Hawthorn Cottage-Craft Podcast. Today is Saturday the 10th of June, Worldwide Knitting Public Day. This is episode 10. Can you believe we're in double figures already? If you're here for the first time, you're especially welcome. I hope you enjoy our company. If you do like what you see, please feel free to press the like button and the subscribe button down below. And if you're here and have been here more than once, you're very welcome back. It's lovely to see you again. I'm Kate, and you can find me on Instagram as Kate_Hawthorncottagecraft, and that is where I am at most of the time. You can find me on Ravelry as ARunnerBean. We have a Ravelry group, which is Hawthorn Cotagecraft Podcast group, and there you'll find all the show notes and any chit chat that's going on. And I have an Etsy shop where I sell my project bags, and that is again Hawthorn Cottagecraft. I hope you have your cuppa, and I hope you enjoy all the chit chat and the catching up with our knitting. Today I have to begin with the announcement of the winners of our CAL, our knit along. If you're joining for the first time, we had a knit along in the group from the 17th of March until the 31st of May, and it was for the Gingerbread sweater by Libby Johnson, who is Truly Myrtle Designs. And actually, if you haven't noticed, she has a new pattern out which is also highly tempting. But we all knit the Gingerbread sweater, and so many people took part, and it was just lovely to see in the Ravelry thread all the different sweaters that were taking shape and a number that got finished. And if you haven't noticed or seen them, look at the hashtag HCC Gingerbread Cal on Instagram, and there you'll see everyone's progress, those people who got finished within the time, and there's a few that have appeared since, and just the progress that people have made. There are beautiful sweaters, beautiful colours, and everybody has done a great job. I closed the thread on the 31st of May, and since then I have drawn some winners. What I did was I wrote down the names of all those who had completed a sweater, first of all, for the main prize. And we had 13, not including my own, we had 13 completed sweaters. And they are beautiful, really beautiful. When I did the random number, we had a winner, and our winner for this project bag, little sheepy one, made with Donegal tweed from McGee's. The winner of this bag and a pattern, Libby Johnson very generously donated 5 pattern prizes, and the first prize is this bag and then a pattern from Truly Myrtle Designs. And the winner, keeping the suspense going here, is Susan, who is Celadon Susan on Ravelry. Well done, Susan. I'm really pleased to see that you've won this prize. Susan's sweater is beautiful. It was knit in Blacker Lioness double knitting, and it's a beautiful emerald green colour. If you haven't seen it, she's on Instagram as Susan Sharp Ceramics. Susan's sweater was beautiful, and I would highly recommend everybody go and have a wee look at that on Instagram or on Ravelry. I then drew for 4 more pattern prizes from Truly Myrtle Designs, and the winners of those are T. Jane, Karen Wazen, Granny Sheep, and Whittle 1775. So congratulations, ladies. There are pattern prizes for you. If the 4 of you plus Susan could please contact Truly Myrtle Designs directly on Ravelry, send her a personal message and she will gift you the pattern of your choice. It's easier if you just contact her directly. The other prize was for a pattern up to the value of $10 from Ravelry, from myself, and I drew for that one, and it was Bare Sheep's Clothing, who is Bernie, local to me. And Bernie, if you could drop me a wee note on Instagram or on Ravelry, and I'll gift the pattern of your choice to you. Thank you everybody for taking part in the knit along. I think everybody, I wish I had prizes for everybody because everybody's sweaters were beautiful. And those who got finished, brilliant. Those who aren't finished yet, keep going. Your sweaters are beautiful and they're well worth finishing. I want to thank you for your encouragement of each other within the group. There was a lot of chat in the group and everybody encouraged each other and helped each other out. And can I thank you as well for your encouragement of me in my first knit along. I also want to thank Libby Johnson, number one, for designing a beautiful pattern that we've all so much enjoyed, and also for donating the prizes. It certainly made the knit along that wee bit more special. On to some knitting, and today I have 2 finished objects, and shockingly they are both socks. So the last time I had shown you my Grand Central socks by Knitting Expat Designs, and I finally have a pair of socks. I'm really pleased with these. Now, I think that's the stage I was at. I may have been further on. I can't actually remember. I don't know if I moved my stitch marker. But they are finished nonetheless and I love them. As I said, they're the Grand Central socks by Knitting Expat Designs. They are from her New York sock collection. This was the first pattern within that collection. And I knit these in Fine Fish Yarns core sock, and it's her SB Eider colourway. And as I've said, I think on nearly every occasion that I've shown them to you, I love the pops of colour in these, particularly the grey, but I love the greens and the burnt orange in them. So I knit these. They were 1 by 1 twisted rib. I had 64 stitches. The modification that I made to the pattern is that Mina in all her patterns does the pattern just down the front of the sock and not the back, and I did it all the way around. And I also put in my own heels. I put in the Fish Lips Kiss heel, which I'm actually starting to memorise, and I think I like it. I think I like it. Still not 100% convinced. Certainly I like knitting it and that it's quick. I'm just not sure about wearing it. That time will tell with the wearing of these and the other socks that I have knit with the Fish Lips Kiss. And then I did my own toe. So I'm really, really chuffed with these. I knit them on 2.5mm. And I did them on, as I've said to you, I knit them on the Knit Picks Caspians. And I had knit them on these. I mean, I've used bamboo needles before, wooden needles. And I'd got these so that I could knit on the plane with them. I certainly wouldn't go to them as my first choice of needle for socks again. Certainly they'll be there as a spare set if I run out of other pairs and I'm using other sets. But they wouldn't be my first choice. I just felt they were so grippy and very blunt at the ends. That I really wasn't that chuffed with them, but they did the job, and I have my socks finished, and I'm really, really pleased with those. I can actually now get to wear them. I've had them finished. I think I got them finished quite close to the last episode, and I can start to wear them. So that was the first pair. Now, the second pair of socks. I do have other socks on the needles. As you know, I'm knitting a pair of socks for my husband and they are languishing in the car. Because even though I have socks to knit in the car, I tend to still grab a bag of whatever else I'm working on instead of working on the socks that are living in the car. But I had found a project bag and I found socks that I had cast on, I think it was last year. not totally sure. It may even have been at the end of the year before. That shows how long these have been on the go. I'll just get them onto the blockers. And when I found them in the bag, I wondered why I had actually stopped. Because when I found them, one sock was complete and I was nearly at the toe of the second sock. And I wondered, why did I leave them at that stage? I mean, usually, okay, I can get a wee bit fed up with the sock at a certain stage and set it down and it can languish. But usually when I'm, particularly on the second sock and nearly at the toe, you have that wee bit of energy to finish it. But for some reason I hadn't. Now, when I looked at them, I discovered, first thing, that on the sock that wasn't finished, I had cut off the yarn. So there was no yarn left. And certainly it wasn't, I would have had enough of the yarn. Because always I overbuy, you know, I nearly always have extra. But certainly I would have had enough yarn. So no idea why. It's so long ago that I actually can't remember doing it. And I have no idea why. And I have no idea where the rest of it has gone. So that was one thing. And then I thought the sock that was completed looked a bit short. It looked a bit odd. So I tried it on, and sure enough, I mean, I don't have big feet. I have a 37, a European 37, which in the UK is a size 4. So I have quite small feet. But this looked extra short. And when I tried it on, sure enough, it was far too short and it wasn't really wearable. So it was a very odd pair of socks that I had found. But I decided I really liked the yarn, and I'll show you it in a moment. I will get to show you them in a moment. I really did like the yarn, and I really didn't want to pull them back and rip them out. So I didn't. I pulled the toe out of the finished sock and pulled it back to the stage that I was at in the second sock, and I decided that I would try and find a contrast yarn to finish it off. And I did, and I have got a finished pair of socks. This is where I had to pull back to. And then just kind of a combination of the both. I was able to kind of, I'm not actually sure how I did it, but I came back quite a bit and equalised it. The original yarn was Drops Fable, and the colourway, because I had to go and look it up because there's no ball band anymore, there's no ball of wool, it has disappeared, gone down a black hole somewhere. It's Candy Print, which is 901 from Drops Fable. And I like knitting socks with Drops Fable. It's a good workhorse yarn, it's strong and it lasts. And very fortunately I found a really good match of contrast. Now this yarn, it is wool with nylon, and I got this yarn in Lidl's. I'm never quite sure how to pronounce that. Is it Lidl or Lidl? Lidl's, but like Aldi. And they did sock yarn a while ago, and I bought some of their colours, and it's fantastic for heels and toes. And it blended in really, really well. There's that particular shade of purple or mauve is in the stripe here. So I was able to finish off the toes. And I have a pair of socks. This was, how many stitches? 68. Now this was a while ago. This was before I had kind of really perfected, for want of a better word, my sock recipe. 64 is now my go-to. 68 stitches, and it must have been my first attempt at a fish lips kiss heel, and it is just a little bit strange looking. There's a wee bit of a bump for some reason. The second one is slightly better. This must have been my very first attempt at the fish lips kiss, and it's okay. And I had done 1 by 1 rib, and then a rounded toe. So all in all, I'm really, really pleased. The other thing that I discovered was that I had them on my DPNs. Now, I learned how to knit socks on DPNs originally, and I have always enjoyed using the DPNs, and I had used for these the Knit Pro Novas, and it's the 2.5mm, and I have a renewed love for these. I don't know if I'm faster. I certainly have felt, finishing those socks off and casting on another pair, I have felt an awful lot faster on these than I do on Magic Loop, but I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe it's just imagination and novelty of using DPNs again. But I'm really pleased. 2 pairs of finished socks. That's not like me. Somebody on Instagram asked what had happened to me. Was I not me anymore? But those are off the needles, and I can now add those to my sock collection. But of course, you cast off socks, and even though there are socks on the needles anyway, and there's probably actually, if I look through some project bags, maybe even another pair of languishing socks, but I cast on another pair, mainly because I really like the DPNs again. And I had got during the week a small 50-gram skein of yarn in the post. Just taking the notion I wanted new yarn because I don't have enough, really. Honestly, I promise. But I do. But I had seen this, and it is Nora George, who I think everyone knows of, and it's her Castle on the Hill colourway. It has a grey undertone to it, and then it has got just very light greens. I can't really get the colour there. So I got this. I have knit shorty socks for my daughter, but I've never knit a pair for myself, and I wanted something quick that I could do after these 2 finished pairs. And I cast on some shorty socks for myself on my DPNs, and well, I haven't got incredibly far. Now, I have put the Fish Lips Kiss Heel into this, and I don't think it's going to work because it's too short. Now, I do want to wear them in Converse, but I just think maybe, I think I should have knit slightly longer here. I cast on my 64 stitches and I knit 10 rows, which is what I have done on my daughter's socks, which was fine with the heel flap and gusset, which I think is slightly deeper. I think it's just a wee bit too short on the back of my heel. We'll see. I'm going to finish them, and if they're a wee bit too neat on me, they'll do somebody. But I'm really pleased with these. I decided that I would do another one of the patterns from the New York sock collection, and I think actually I've come to the conclusion shorty socks are a brilliant way of trying out a sock pattern before you invest more time, or a lot more time, in a longer sock to try out the pattern, see whether you like it. And I cast on the 4th pattern. I haven't done number 2 or number 3, but I just kind of went straight to the 4th pattern from Mina from Knitting Expat, and it is called the Times Square sock, and it's beautiful. I am going to knit a longer normal pair of socks in these, but it's like a mock cable pattern, and it feels really quick. I think any pattern sock feels as though it's going in a lot quicker because you go, all right, I'll knit the next pattern, repeat, I'll knit the next pattern, repeat, and you do. And I am feeling that the DPNs are going quite quickly as well. So I'm really enjoying knitting these, and hopefully by the next time I'll have at least one of them, if not both, because this is the time of year to wear the shorties with the Converse. So that's the first work in progress that I have. I'm just on a sock knitting kind of spree at the moment, and I bought, I don't know if you can see it, I don't think you can. Brit Yarn had their birthday last week, and I also succumbed to their special yarn. I'll show it to you. Not very organised, I should have had it over here, but this is from the Knitting Goddess, and I think in the next week or so I'm going to cast these on. And this is for Ethel the sheep, who is Brit Yarn's logo, and the colours are based on her logo, and this was her birthday yarn. So it is self-striping sock yarn, and it's British BFL and nylon, and I can't wait to knit that up. So that's the sock knitting and the renewed vigour for it. The other work in progress I have, I've been working on for the last few weeks, but I haven't been able to show you it. I had, as you know, cast on my Scully cardigan, and I have been knitting on it and knit a few rows on it in the last fortnight, but I haven't actually done that much. So there's no point in showing you the lack of progress on that. And that is mainly because I've been working on this project. And this project is a test knit that I've been working on, so I can't show you it in great detail, but I can show you a bit and tell you what it's for. I have told you that on August the 5th this year there is a yarn festival, Northern Ireland's first yarn festival in Whitehead in County Antrim, and it's called the Yarn Folk Festival of Wool. And just as an aside, I was meant to be vending at that, but unfortunately I've had to pull out, but I will still be there. I'm really looking forward to the actual festival itself. But for the Yarn Folk Festival, Carol Feller, who I'm sure all of you know from Stolen Stitches, has designed a pattern that will be exclusive to the festival, certainly for the first while anyway. I'm not sure if it goes out then in general release. But I am test knitting the said item. It's a shawl, and this shawl is stunning. You are going to love it when you get it. It is huge, and I'm not finished yet. I'm hoping that over the next few days I'll really get working on it and maybe get it finished. I am going to show you it in a scrunched up form so that I'm not showing too much. But this is the squishiest shawl, the warmest shawl. It's been quite cool here in the last week, and it's been lovely with this kind of draped over my knee. It is big when I've been knitting, and I'm knitting it with Carol Feller's own new range of yarn, which is Nua. I think that's pronounced correctly. And I strongly recommend, if you haven't seen her new yarn range, that you should go and get it. This is the colour I'm knitting in, and it is Hatter's Teal Party, and it's just this beautiful colour. Her yarn is sport weight, and it's 60% merino, 20% yak and 20% linen. So the merino and the yak is just giving it this squishy, silky feeling. It really is the softest yarn to touch, but the linen is giving it that wee bit of durability and strength. And once I've finished this project, there will likely be more Nua in my future, because I really want to knit a sweater or a cardigan with this. It's gorgeous yarn. It is warm and squishy. The project I'm knitting is on 4.5mm needles, and I'm using my Zing, Knit Pro Zing interchangeables, and they're perfect for this. And I've been working really hard at this to get it done, because I'll have to get it photographed for her. If you're at the Yarn Folk Festival, it will certainly be worth getting your hands on and knitting. So that has taken up quite a lot of my knitting time in the last few weeks, and I feel as though I have to kind of invest a few more days on that before I can go back to my Scully cardigan and anything else that I might have on the cards, and in a little while I'll tell you what's on the cards. The other thing that I worked a little bit on just in the last couple of days was something that I talked about the last time, and that is my steek, my attempt at steeking. As I said the last time, one of my challenges for this year was to learn how to steek, and I was a bit nervous about doing that. Like everybody else, when you've invested time and effort into your knitting, the thought of actually taking a pair of scissors to it is quite terrifying. So Ninja Chickens, Maria from Ninja Chickens, had started a steek along, and there's a hashtag for that, hashtag steek along on Instagram. And her idea, as I had said the last time, was to source in a charity shop a sweater that was predominantly wool based, and practice on it, and then you don't feel as though you've made that investment, a few pounds for a charity shop sweater. And as I showed you the last time, I got a sweater. I went onto eBay because I knew that the charity shops around here wouldn't have one, and I went onto eBay and found a beautiful sweater, and this was it. I loved it, and it said that it was 100% wool, which it is. It's Shetland wool, and it had so much potential. I had noticed on the last episode that there was a hole, but I thought, well, I can fix that. I'll darn that. It'll teach me how to darn properly, because I've never done that either. And then I will steek it. Well, talk about a mis-selling on eBay. The blurb, and I put this on Instagram, the blurb on the seller's post said that this was a vintage piece, which it probably is, relatively vintage, in perfect condition. Now, I do not know how they rate perfect condition. One hole, maybe through wear. Perfect condition to me is wearable. This sweater is not wearable. Now, it is perfect for the task that I have for it, which is cutting it. But this will not be staying in my wardrobe. Actually, once I've shown it to you, this is going straight out of the house and into the bin, because this is riddled with holes, and I don't know what the source of those holes is, and I am not taking the risk of introducing a problem which all knitters dread to my wool collection. But I took steps to hopefully eliminate that issue. And I mean, I found one hole last week. I found another one just actually since talking. There. The back of the sweater here has just, you can't really see them there, but there's a range of holes. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 within a space there. There's a huge one in the front, and there's more down the sleeves. There's another one, big one. This is certainly not perfect condition. So just to make sure, I had a look at what needs to be done, and I, much to my children's consternation and amazement and kind of bewilderment, there was a plastic bag in the freezer for a while with the sweater in it, and I froze it for a few days, and then I washed it, but I'm still just not confident about keeping this in the house. My cat took a liking to it, and if you saw Instagram, he landed on top of it and lay down. And some people suggested that I use this for bedding for the cat because he liked it. But I'm sorry, Danny, you're not getting this. This is not staying in the house. But I did steek it. Just to cut kind of to the chase. I did actually steek it. And I'm very pleased with my steak. I followed Maria's tutorial, which is within episode 8 of her podcast, on how to steek using the sewing machine. I didn't do the crochet steek. I used the sewing machine. And another video that I found explaining how to steek, which was very good, is Arnie and Carlos, how to steek a cardigan. Their episode, the 3 or 4 tutorials on how to steek. And those are great resources, and I link to both Maria's episode and to Arnie and Carlos in the show notes. So I will insert photographs. I put in the line of stitching. I found the middle, and I put in my line of stitching with 4-ply wool just up the middle of the sweater. And then I went to the machine and I did a side, you can't really see it, I machined here, either side of the middle. And then I took the scissors to it, and it's easier to show on the hanger actually. I cut my cardigan into my sweater into a cardigan, and I'm really, really pleased with how that worked. And it has certainly given me the confidence. That is the one thing this project has done. It has given me the confidence that I would certainly try it now on a piece of my own knitting. I am not going to go to the next stage, which I really should do, and I would have done had it been a reasonable piece of knitwear, of how to finish the steek. For me, it was about gaining the confidence to actually just take the scissors to it, and I have done that. But this piece of clothing is not worth, you can see kind of the holes down there, the light shining through. There's a big hole here, stick my finger through. It's not worth the time, and I'm certainly not going to invest in a zip or ribbon or anything to do bias tape for this sweater. It's not worth it. But it has taught me that steeking really isn't as terrifying as I thought. I mean, there is strength here, and this is the cut edge, and there's no way that's going anywhere with the machine stitching, and I would have no issues about now trying to work with that, and no fear of it unravelling and falling apart, which I think is always the worry when you take your scissors to a project, that the rest of it will just fall apart, not just the area that you've cut. So it has been an experience. This is going straight out the door after I press the finish button, and it's going to the bin, unfortunately, because there's just no saving it. There's just too much by way of darning. It would just look completely darned. It was only ever for the house, but even for that, there's just a wee niggle at the back of my head going, oh, what if this has got things in it that shouldn't be there, and I'm introducing a problem that I didn't have. So that is the saga of the steek. Maybe in the next little while, I always say once I get these projects off, I'll do this. But there's always another one on the go. But I will try and do a project where I will steek it properly and finish it off myself. So that's the steek along. Give it a go. Lots of people have expressed interest in it and said that they'd love to give it a try. It really is worth it. And I didn't need any fortification. I did think I was going to get heart failure when I started, but I had no extra fortification to do it. You do not need anything else to help, just your scissors and your nerve. So that was that. That is going to the bin. The last thing I want to talk about is actually an up and coming. Definitely want to finish my yarn folk shawl. Definitely want to work on my scully. But I am going to an event at the end of July, and I have some knitting to do for that. I am going to be at Fibre East in England at the end of July. It's the last weekend in July. Fine Fish Yarns is vending there, and I'm going to be her helper. She is also, just as a side note, vending at Pom Fest, the big party in London, 15th, around about the 15th of July, for Pom Pom magazine for their birthday, their 5th birthday. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to that one, but you will see Kira there, who is Emerald Fibres. She is her trusty helper for that event. But I'm helping at Fibre East, and I feel that I need to have some fine fish yarns to wear. I have plenty of shawls and socks, but I want a garment. So I am using a pattern from the new Lane magazine. Now, I waxed lyrical about the first issue of this when it came out. I knit the Nuke sweater from the first issue. So this is the second issue, their new one. And again, I want to knit everything in this. This is a beautiful magazine if you can get your hands on it, and there are still plenty, I think, available of this one. And I did hear that the first one has become available in some shops again. I was watching a podcast this morning, and they had got the first issue from Isolde, so maybe they're still there. But this second issue is widely available at the moment, and everything in it is just stunning. The sweater that I am going to be knitting is actually the cover one, the cardigan. I find a better picture. Everything in it, there are beautiful, beautiful patterns, but I'll show you the one that I'm going to knit first. That's the back of it. And there's a little bit of detail at the top. I don't know if you can see it particularly well. The sweater is called, I know, UTU cardigan. And it is knit, they've recommended a gradient for it. So Terry very kindly dyed up some of her yarn in a gradient, and I'll find that now. So get it in order if I can. This is the gradient. With the green walls in the background, it's quite hard to get the colour, but it's almost like a tealy green fading down. So hopefully the UTU, as I'll call it, the UTU, it's cardigan, will be knit with that, and next time it'll be a whip. But just everything in this magazine, if I could knit, had time to knit everything, I would. Trying to, just the look and feel of this book in itself. It is quite an investment of a book, but it's not a magazine. It just couldn't be termed as a magazine. It really is a book, and when you look at it, it feels like quite a big outlay at the time. It's around about £20. But there are so many patterns in it, and when you think of the cost of patterns, it really is well worth its money. I love this. The simplicity of that one. And there are a number of beautiful shawls and recipes. There's a nice recipe for a rosemary Collins, which is a gin. And today, apparently, somebody said on Instagram, today's Gin Day as well as National Knitting Public Day. There are just, there was another one that I really liked. The Summer Rain cable. I just love these muted colours. They're very me. And there's great articles about different yarns. There's a lovely article about Andrea Mowry. This dress or tunic is beautiful. And it has a little bit of work on the back. So there are lots of things in this magazine, but I am really looking forward to knitting the cardigan with Terry's yarns, and hopefully if you come and see me at Fibre East, I'll be wearing it, and if I'm not wearing it, it'll be an artful, tasteful display of knitting on the needles on her stall. But that's my plan, to get it on the needles and started for the next time. So I hope you enjoyed spending time in the cottage today with me. If you're doing anything for Worldwide Knitting Public Day, I hope you enjoy it. I'm not going, not planning to go to any of the main events. Hubby took me out for coffee this morning and I knit in public anyway, so nothing was new there. But I hope you have a good day, whatever you're doing. And hopefully I'll see you again, all being well, in 2 weeks' time.